Hello everybody and welcome into Emily's Upcycled Home, where I take thrifted items and upcycle them into beautiful home decor pieces. On today's video, we are going to use some paint inlays by IOD and Lattice Rose, DIY paint and Petticoat Pink, and Fusion Paint Color French Eggshell. I'm excited to get started, you guys, so let's go on and jump into our first project. Project number 1. For our first project, I found this little resin style or plaster kind of frame. It has a fairy and little garden theme around it, but I want to go ahead and come in and paint it with French Eggshell here by Fusion, and I'm going to just stipple that on here because there's so many little nooks and crannies on this piece. I'm trying to get all the way down to that bottom base layer where everything begins here. I'm going to thoroughly coat this in with that Fusion French color, and we are going to come back in with DIY's white wax. Notice that I'm offloading my brush here. You don't want too much white wax on there or else it won't cure properly and you'll get like a filmy residue. So I'm going to go ahead and coat up that white wax, come back in with a lint-free rag, and remove all the excess, leaving behind that white wax and all the little grooves to create this little look here. Now I'm thinking to hang this piece or layer this on some books, but I think I want to add a little lace bow to the top here, trim off the edges. I did add a little tab of glue there just so it could lay the way I want. And then I added a little piece of greenery. And there we go, guys. Moving on to project number 2. So project number 2, I have these 2 glass pieces. I'm going to start with the first one, and I am simply going to come in with that petticoat pink, and I'm adding water because this was at the bottom rack of my paint supplies, and I'm trying to use up all these old paints and everything so that they don't go to waste. So I just add in some water into my DIY paint and stir that up thoroughly to give me a nice paint color again. I'm going to come in with my DIY paint and I'm going to do 2 coats of this using my heat gun in between. And I chose DIY paint because with glass surfaces it seems to stick really well as Dixie Belle products stick really well to glass. And if you are interested in any Dixie Belle, IOD, or Fusion paint products, go ahead and check out my affiliate link down in the description. Now we're coming in with that Lattice Rose paint inlay. So the under layer of my paint is wet. I go ahead and place this onto my surface here, and then you want to activate all that painted floral on that paper with some water. You're going to let this thoroughly dry and just make sure that you're tapping and pushing into the product so that the image presses into that paint. Coming in here and finishing up the lid with that pink, a little bit of our heat gun to seal that in. I am going to distress this piece, and then we are going to come in with a sealer here. You can come in with any of your choice sealer. I like Big Top by DIY, or I like Dixie Belle's flat sealers. And I'm going to come in with a little bit more white wax, rub that in, and then wipe off the excess. Now that our paint inlay is dry, you want to reactivate that page with some water so that you're able to pull it off. Now this was a user error here. This was my first attempt of using the paint inlay, and it pulled off some of my paint that I had in with it. So I think you need to seal it before, and I've done previous projects now or other projects now where I do seal the paint in before I add the inlay in. So I go ahead and remove that, and it has this beautiful little floral image, and I wasn't mad about it pulling off the paint because I was going to distress it anyway. So now I'm going to come in with Big Top, and I'm going to go ahead and seal everything up, and then after that dries, I come back in with my DIY white wax and then add a layer of that to it to match our lid. And here we go, you guys. I'm going to add that lid back on. And then I noticed a little edge on the top was not painted, and it does show. So I come in and paint that little piece all around the edges to give it a clean look here. And then for this piece, you guys, I know it's a sugar bowl. You can use it as that if you want. But I decided to use it for more like a craft piece. Add a bit of lace in there. And then you guys can just pull the lace through that little hole that's meant for the spoon and clip off what you need. Christmas in July is coming to my Facebook business page as well as Andrea's at the Cutest Little Things. So make sure you're following us both. 1 week of crafting there. For the second glass jar, all I decided to add is not to use the top and go ahead and make this like a beautiful little fairy light, kind of like those old fairy light pieces. And all I'm going to do, because I like the glass and I think the light under that glass will give me a beautiful pattern on the wall, I'm just going to come in with E6000, a little aged up knob I found in my stash, place that on top. And then I'll look for a dish to put this in, but to hold everything in place, I'll go ahead and tape this down. Let that dry thoroughly for 24 hours, and you'll see the finished result at the end. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more DIY videos. For project number 3, I am coming in with a spindle and once again a round here, coaster round I get from Amazon. I'm going to create a stand, gluing these two pieces on with E6000, and then as they set, I will come back in and add some nails there. But first I'm going to clean up my mess here and let this thoroughly dry. And like I said, with my brad nail gun, I'm going to add a few nails to the base just to secure this piece. Now, if you don't have a nail gun, you can just add one little screw at the base. So we are coming in with Fusion French eggshell for this item, and I'm going to layer up that paint on the bottom of our base here. Now, Fusion does have its own built-in sealer, so you want to make sure that you are stirring properly your paint, so that it's all mixed up. And because it has its own built-in sealer, I come in trying to distress it before the paint's dry, but I was a little bit too quick on that and it took off most of the paint. So I come back in and add more paint to that, and then I'll come back when the paint's a little bit tacky and distress it a little bit. Now, like our first project or our second project, I came in with that paint inlay. I did put a coat of white paint on the base. I added my inlay on the top of this little birdhouse I attached. And then I'm just coming now in with my water, making sure that I press into that paint so that our print or our image will stick into that wet layer. Now, when you pull it off, you just re-dampen your paper to unstick it from your base of your project and gently pull off your inlay. Now remember, you can reuse these as many times as you can until all that ink is used up. Now, as far as sealing it, I came in already and I went ahead and sealed it with Dixie Belle's top coat in a flat finish. And I'm just now going to add some moss and some little detailing to our piece. Now, this is just some green moss I got at Hobby Lobby. I am going to come in with some glue and glue all these pieces on. But this is a little flower piece from our last project, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll have that into the description. And I'm going to come in with that French eggshell and paint up these little flowers, coming back with my hot glue gun and embellishing our little stand here. Now, gonna add some moss around the edge, add some at the bottom and at the base of the piece, all with some hot glue. And then I'm going to come in with a cute little bird and we will attach that at the base of the piece as well. But first we are going to add in our little flower decal here, or a little resin molding with some hot glue just to rake up that solid white on the top of our birdhouse. Go ahead and hold that in place. And then I got a little ceramic bird here that you can find on Amazon. And then I will go ahead and add some white wax to finish up the look here. Now on the top of the piece too, I will come in after my sealant has dried and put some white wax on the top of the bird cage as well. Remember, you want to wipe off all your excess, not excess of your white wax, and then kind of buff that in as you go. And then I will add a little bit to the top as well. And then this project's complete. Let's move on to project number 5 here. Now I'm taking those Amazon coasters that I told you about, and I'm going to come in with some petticoat pink, and we are going to make some little ornament pieces that you can hang wherever you want. I'm thinking more like on baskets, just to add that little detail in there. Once again, we are going to come in with our paint inlay by IOD, and then we are going to do that same method of putting on that wet paint and then adding in our image here. Once again, repeating that step, layering up that paint and adding in our images. Now I'm kind of using some of the old images that we just used, and I'm just kind of piecing those together how I want. And then I am going to come back in with the IOD birdsong mold and my DOS paper clay that you, or air dry clay, you can get off of Amazon. I'm going to continue on. You see, I already pulled off the layering there, but I'm going to bring in these little bird molds and I'm going to attach them to our little rounds here, creating a cute little shabby chic medallion or charm or ornament, whatever it is you guys want to call them. You can even hang them on the wall. I'm going to repeat the step for one more and then we'll see where we are at. So I did a third one and I misplaced it somewhere. So we are just going to use 2 so far. And I'm coming in with some DIY white wax and I'm going to layer that over the birds just to deepen that white of the paper clay. Remember, you want to wipe on and wipe off the excess of the wax, layering it up. At times, if you need to come in with a little bit more here, and I go ahead and mix up my DIY dark wax also from DIY, and I'm going to hit the edges of the piece and also the back of our little ornament just to give it a wood tone there and a contrasting color. Now, once again, you wiped off the excess, and then I'm going to come in with some lace string or ribbon here, and we are going to make a tie. And I want them to be in 2 separate pieces because I want you to be able to tie around whatever you want to tie them around and not just hang them or on a hook or anything. So if you decide that you want a shabby chic tree and you want to use this in your tree, you can just tie this to one of your branch or around a basket if you have a basket, wherever it is you want to hang these little pieces. And that is simple as that, you guys. And we have come to the end of our video, so here are the finished projects. Let me know which project was your favorite. Leave me a comment down below. And if you like my content, please hit that subscribe button and help my channel grow. Hello everybody, and this is welcome into Emily's Upcycled home. I just have a quick announcement. I'm gonna do my first ever Facebook Live show the July 17th, of course, in the morning because it's really hot over here at 7 a.m. And I hope you all can join me on that day. If you guys don't know what I do thrifted upcycles. I'm a little bit in that French country realm with the shabby chic, as well as some rustic pieces, a little bit of farmhouse, not too much, but that's what I do. And if you watch my lives or if you watch my videos, my YouTube videos, those are the kind of products that I will be bringing into my Facebook Live. I hope you guys all join me July 17th at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I guess I would put the dates down in the comments, like if you're in Eastern Standard Time or whatever time. I'll go ahead and try and put those dates so that you guys don't miss out on that. But once again, July 17th, 7 a.m., first ever Facebook Live. And if I don't get a lot of viewers, a lot of sales, it's just good practice for me to keep coming back and eventually grow this little community. So I appreciate you all for stopping in, listening to this message, following me here on my Facebook business page. Also go ahead and give me a follow over on my YouTube channel at Emily's Upcycled Home, as well as on TikTok, Instagram, and Pinterest. What else do I have? Everything on Whatnot too. I do have sales on Whatnot. Everything is under the same name, Emily's Upcycled Home. So thank you guys once again, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Bye, friends.